I'm Damian Lillard, and this is the Kevin Burke Project.
Episode 56, the Kevin Burke Project. When I first heard a few years ago that Deion Sanders was named the head coach at Jackson State, my first thought was, all right, well, he's not going to be there forever. That was my first thought. This is before I ever heard him speak since accepting the job, before any sort of introductory press conference. Just when I saw the news on Twitter or wherever I saw it, my thought was, well, he's not going to be there forever. Why did I think that? I thought that because somebody as high profile as Deion Sanders would covet and want a job that's more high profile than an HBCU job. Of course, not bashing an HBCU head coaching job. That's a great job, but he's Deion Sanders. He's Primetime, right? The man's name is Primetime. So I thought he would have wanted something. So based on that, I thought he wouldn't be there forever. And I feel like if he would have been offered a Power 5 job at the time he accepted the Jackson State job, he never would have been at Jackson State. Then he accepts the job. And then he starts talking. Interviews, press conferences, more interviews, more press conferences. And he's selling you, or at least he's selling me on this idea like God called, like this was his calling, like God called him to do this type of rhetoric. And like, man, I bought in. I'm like, man, this guy's never leaving now. I was like, Kev, you were wrong. This guy is never leaving. Listen to what he's saying. He's saying all the right things, doing all the right things. It sounds like he is in there, like he jumped in with both feet at Jackson State. The team is winning. People are paying attention to Jackson State football. People are paying attention to HBCUs. ESPN brought the college, the game day, college game day crew down there to Jackson State. I'm like, are you serious? Wow, this is okay. Maybe I was wrong. The guy's all in. Then he's eventually offered the Power 5 job at Colorado, and he accepts it. And I don't know. For me, I can't begrudge him for accepting it because, again, the man's nickname is Primetime. And the sellout word, for me, that's a bit strong because, yeah, while he left for more money, yes, no doubt, he left for more money. His initial goal or motivation at this stage of his life was to coach a high-profile program. I believe that. Again, I believe if he were offered a Power 5 job 3 years ago, he never would have gone to Jackson State. So he got to where he ultimately wanted to get to, right? So sellout for me is a bit strong because what did he do at Jackson State? I think he put HBCU football on the map. He put Jackson State on the map. He brought guys like he got 5-star recruits came to HBCUs. Travis Hunter went to Jackson State. Otherwise, he would not have even thought of an HBCU, I don't think, had it not been for Deion Sanders coaching at Jackson State. So Deion leaves, goes to Colorado. Travis Hunter says he's going to Colorado with him. A few of the players entered the transfer portal. This is a tough one, man. I don't know. I'm even struggling to I thought I had my thoughts all laid out, and I don't as I sit here. And I just say it's a tough one. Again, the sellout thing is a bit strong for me. He did a lot for the school. He did a lot for HBCUs. One of the things that, people didn't like was that he always had a camera crew with him. And yeah, that kind of made some of the things that he was doing feel a little bit disingenuous to me. But now I'm finding out that there's a documentary coming out on Amazon Prime that highlights his time at Jackson State. So that's probably why the camera crews were around. And I'm sure you watched The Last Dance, right, on ESPN. So you didn't have a problem with the camera crews following around, the Bulls in the 90s. You watched that with no problem. So maybe you can watch, this Deion documentary with no problem through the same lens. So, again, I'm not surprised that he left. Because, again, I don't think he would have gone there in the first place. It's just the way he jumped in with both feet with the, like, this is my calling and God sent me type of deal. And he's already saying that same sort of thing at Colorado. What did he say? He said his purpose is what did he say? It's not the destination. It's not the location. It's the destination. That's what he said. Meaning he's trying to impact young men no matter where he's at, whether it's Jackson State or Colorado. It's not the location. It's the destination, getting them to the NFL and getting them to be better men. So all the best to him in Colorado. I think good things will happen for HBCUs moving forward. I think recruits will go to HBCUs. You got Ed Reed going to Bethune-Cookman, so I think there's already something starting to happen. If Ed Reed leaves, then we got a different conversation. I'm up here on the mic talking about something different. But real quick, as I put a bow on Deion, he was on the Shannon Sharp, the Club Shay Shay podcast, and Shannon goes to Colorado to interview Deion. Did you know that Deion had 2 toes amputated on his left foot? I never knew that. I had no idea. This man's getting a massage with all 8 of his toes out. I didn't know this. I'm watching that episode. I tuned in to see Shannon Sharp interview Deion Sanders. And then I see this man laid up there with 8 toes. And he got the toes amputated because it started with turf toe. Me growing up hearing, turf toe, I never played organized football. Played other sports, but not organized football. So you hear turf toe. I was always growing up like, what is this turf toe stuff? Turf toe was enough to get your toes amputated. Did you know that? I didn't know that. That's neither here nor there. As you know, Brittney Griner is home, and I don't have anything really compelling to say about the Brittney Griner situation. I feel like this is such a polarizing topic. You're either on one side of the argument or you are completely on the other side of the argument. Not argument, the topic, I'll say, because there is no argument. So here's where I stand, which is a very kind of wishy-washy, and I typically don't take these kind of non-stance stances. I'll say that a lot of things in opposition about this situation are true. Perhaps. Let's see. I think some of the facts around whether or not she knew what she was doing was illegal is still up in the air. So if she did in fact know that what she was doing was illegal in Russia, should she not have done that? I guess we could all say that's true. Did the punishment fit the crime? No. I think we could all say that that's also true. Was she locked up for too long given what she did? You could probably say that's true. Not probably, you could say that's true. But again, the other side is, well, she knew what she was doing was wrong. That's where it's still kind of murky, I feel like, if she knew what she was doing was wrong. And then it's like they release her and they trade her for a former arms dealer. And the argument is that that's not an equivalent trade. You could say that's true. You could say, if the U.S. wanted to trade with Russia to give back their arms dealer, or for with any other country, or they're more quote worthy, and I don't know how you gauge worthiness. This is the word I'm hearing thrown out there. Could there have been more worthy people to trade with? I don't know. I can't make that call. So I didn't say. I said a whole lot of nothing with this Brittney Griner thing. I feel like a lot of things can be true and a lot of things are. It's just an unfortunate situation all around. But she's back, she's home, and we'll go from there. All right. Just real quick, I want to talk about the World Cup really quickly. I know this happened a while ago, but I just want to say I don't know if it's you, or rather, if you agree with this, or maybe it's just me, but I feel like this 2022 World Cup, I paid way more attention to than I have in years past. For one, it crept up on me. It being later in the year than it typically is because of where it took place. One, I think that's why it crept up on me. It wasn't even on my radar until it was here. I was like, oh yeah, the World Cup is coming around. But I felt like I was just leaning in on every game. I was just tuned in. I'm screaming all crazy for teams. I got a horse in none of these races as I'm watching these matches or games, if you're nasty. And I'm screaming, every I don't know why. I was just completely dialed in. And just the thing that I heard consistently throughout the World Cup and leading into it was that if the best athletes in the United States played soccer or football, if you're nasty, then the United States would be the best country in the world in soccer/football. And I feel like that is one of the most arrogant comments I've ever heard in sports. It just is, because I don't know. I don't know that if LeBron James and Kobe Bryant and you name it, whoever you think are the best, just naturally gifted athletes that you've ever seen from the United States, I don't know that if they dedicated their life to football, that if their ball skills and their footwork will be better than Mbappe's. I don't know. I have no idea. And I have no idea because what we saw, like with the Dream Team in '92, and from the basketball standpoint, they dominated the world. And then we saw from Olympics, the subsequent Olympics after '92, the world caught up to the U.S. And as they continued to win gold, it was by the skin of their teeth, not overwhelmingly like they did in 1992. So as it relates to soccer/football, I don't know that you can just automatically say that the U.S. would be number one. It's kind of arrogant. Actually, it's a lot arrogant. Let me talk about Ja Morant really quickly. Ja Morant was being interviewed by, who was he interviewed by? Malika Andrews from ESPN. And the question she asked him was something along the lines of what team do the Grizzlies fear? And he said the Celtics. So he's already thinking like NBA Finals, which is what he should be doing. And she said, oh, nobody in the West? And this man said, and I quote, nah, I'm fine in the West. And I don't know, man. I just add this to a long list of things that like the Grizzlies have said and done that make you feel like if you never watched basketball before, never heard of the NBA, and you tuned in today, and you listen to how these dudes talk from the Grizzlies, you would have thought that this team won multiple championships already, like the way they talk. And I guess you're nothing without confidence, right? You're nothing without confidence. And if you don't believe in yourself, who's going to do that? But these dudes are like ultra confident, bordering on cocky, starting with their leader, Ja Morant. He's getting to I'm just scrolling through Twitter, minding my business, and I'm feeling like all of this like cocky talk, like the Warriors can't stand him. Like Klay Thompson can't. Klay Thompson cannot stand the Grizzlies. And as I'm scrolling through, just random people on Twitter, I'm feeling like this talk that Ja's spewing. It's like rubbing people the wrong way. People outside of Memphis, of course, people who don't root for the Grizzlies. I don't know. I feel like at some point it's going to catch up to them. They got to win. And if they win this year, it's a different conversation that he can say whatever he wants to. Keep it with the NBA. Luka. 60, 21, and 10. 60, 21, and 10. I mean, I remember when it was tough for guys to get 50. And I remember when Kobe got 81, of course. So Kobe's 81 aside and like Devin Booker 70 aside. Before those two happened, like when guys got 60, it was like, oh, it was a big deal, right? Like Kobe first got 60, then T-Mac was getting 60, then Gilbert Arenas got 60. Remember those days? It it was like, oh my gosh. And then like James Harden comes into the mix with his 50-point triple doubles and all this. I think Harden also had a 60-point triple double, if I'm not mistaken. But this man got 60 points and 21 rebounds to boot, and dished out 10 assists. And I'm like, ugh, that's disgusting. That's disgusting. But my question is, can Luka coexist with another star? Because this is the NBA, and he will need another bona fide star for the Mavericks to ascend to where they want to be, which is ultimately a championship team. So can he coexist? As of right now, I don't know. As of right now, I say no. They've tried this thing with, and these guys aren't necessarily stars, but they had Porzingis alongside Luka. They had Jalen Brunson alongside Luka. Again, those guys aren't necessarily stars. Good players, though. Didn't work out. Both those guys left town for one reason or another. Right now, Luka's averaging 34, 9, and 9. Mavericks are 7th in the West, 19 and 16. He's ball dominant, but he's very good. They're going to need somebody to come in there and be an not equal contributor, a high-performing contributor. And I don't know yet if Luka's game is designed to live alongside another 25-point scorer, like a consistent 25-point scorer for like years and years and years. Not one guy flash in the pan, 25, like a bona fide 25-point scorer. I don't know. It's going to need that. So not diminishing anything this guy does from an individual standpoint, because he is magnificent. But like just thinking long game and the end game with them, then we'll see. All right, I'm gonna wrap up with Russell Wilson. I talked about him on a few episodes ago, and I don't know. I feel silly sometimes. I feel silly because I feel bad for a guy who's so rich. Like this guy, filthy rich, and I feel bad for him sometimes because they just call him corny all the time, and the narrative on social media is that the team doesn't like him, and he's corny, he has no friends, he's alienated, and he's not real, and blah 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 blah, attacking his character. And it's like, man, I feel bad for this guy. Like he's filthy rich. I just feel bad for this guy. He was benched one game. Let's just get this clear. This man makes way too much money to not be the starter. Let's get that clear. Okay? He's gonna start. Makes way too much money. So what do you do then? Then you fire the coach. What they just did. Okay, you can't fire Russell. Gave him too much money. Coach has to go. He's a sacrificial lamb. All right, was that the problem? Time will tell. We don't know. But again, I feel bad for the dude. But what I did like to hear, and the reason I'm talking about this is that I was waiting for a teammate to jump to his defense and say, guys, all of the rumors are not true. We do like this guy. Because I think Russell had a birthday party like a month ago, and they said half the team showed up. To me, that sounds like a lot. That sounds, oh wow, half the guys showed up. But all the haters are like, well, that means that half the team didn't show up. I'm like, well, yeah, that's true, but like, do we know that they didn't show up because they hate this guy's guts, or they just, schedules didn't work out? But I heard Jerry Jeudy come out, or I saw Jerry Jeudy's tweet basically backing Russell, saying, guys, this is not true. We ride with him. He called Russell, I think he said something along the lines of being the hardest working teammate or the most motivational teammate. This is Jerry Jeudy, like his number one receiver, coming out saying that. I'm like, finally, okay, it took all season. It took 17 weeks, but somebody finally came out and defended him on the team. So you know what? Maybe we all have it wrong on Russell Wilson.